Hello, everybody, and welcome to your daily lighting critique. Today is Wednesday, April 20-something. Let's see. We've got a couple of. We have Aaron's animation here. This is the newest version, and then we have some still images to go through as well. So let's start here. Aaron, this is your current version. This is the previous one where we had the jitter on it. Took that off with this. I like this version a lot better. I don't know if other people agree. I'm always am a fan of nice steady camera movements. Like handheld cameras are good in some instances, but like too much I get nauseated. And so I think for this style, I think this works better.
Okay. Yeah.
And then the two notes that I had about the movement. One, I think you can even slow down the rotation a little bit. I think it could be a little bit more like not like slow motion, but just like a little more. I think it could be slower. And the other thing is the camera move. I am a big fan with my camera moves of setting the keyframes before the start and after the end, because what happens is like you can see the ramp down at the end to a stop. You know, like these last 20 frames or so, it just kind of like eases into a stopping point. And for me, I'd rather it was just like kind of a continuous motion throughout the shot.
Okay, because I can turn my... So 84 has to stay the same, because that's where...
Okay, well, I mean, then you could just change the...
Well, yeah, I can change the interpolation on the curve, yeah.
Yeah, and just make it whatever. Linear, yeah, whatever that is. I always forget. Yeah, but that's pretty much it, unless somebody else sees something. But just slowing it down and making that a continuous move.
Yeah, I have the same note on the cubes because the cubes has also IC out.
Yep, I have to go in and those all, everything defaults in Maya to like ease in, ease out.
Yeah, that like S-shaped curve.
I've just been putting it off because it's like 100 cubes that I have to go in and find their animation curve.
I want.
I
guess like in the attribute spreadsheet doesn't have that.
I'll find a way.
Yeah.
In the graph editor, you could just select all the cubes and select all the keys and just hit the linear interpolation instead of the Bezier.
Yeah, hopefully that's what'll happen.
Okay, cool. All right, great. I'm excited to see this, all the bells and whistles with this guy. All right, let's hop over into the stills. All right, we got this one up first. So we'll start here with you. Welcome. I think this is your first critique that you're sitting on.
Yes.
Welcome.
It is. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so let's first take a look at the reference, and then we will dive into the image itself. So the reference is all like, this play off of cool outside, warm inside. The light on the interior is very specific as a very, very, very soft candlelight, and just like warm bounce everywhere, and just like a soft feel to it. There's not, you don't see any hard edge shadows. I guess you see like a little one there, but for the most part, it's just super softness all over this image as a whole. Once we go into this, we've got that warm cool is starting to play through. I think we can hit it a little bit more strongly with the saturation on the warms inside. And I also think that we can kind of soften and illuminate a little bit more of the inside too. Like I think we could probably even pretend like there's some candles around them and really just kind of bring up some light overall throughout. And then from the outside, the color feels pretty good. A few things stand out. The first thing that stands out to me is the saturation on the plants outside. That super punchy green is really popping forward, and so I would pull down the saturation on the shader on those.
Actually, that's only shading, doesn't have material, so I'm still working on that.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. So that I think the eye is looking, it's looking pretty cool. The thing that I really like about it is it has that headlight look to it, which is unique. If you really look at like the headlight of a car, it's smooth on the outside, but the inside is all like that kind of broken up pattern like we're seeing here.
Yeah.
So you can see like you're representing that really well. That's kind of a tricky one. So I think that is so that is I think that's working out really well. The color outside works well too. I think we can get more shaping out of it though. Like I'm just seeing a lot of similar tones from this side to the window to this side. I want to see some shadow being cast across it a little bit, and I think that'll work out really well. Because like even the little girl, it feels like it's a little bit more screen right than screen left, but I think we can really play up the shaping on those. So I think the biggest things for you to work on would be getting that moonlight shaping a little bit more, and then really kind of bouncing up some more warm light inside to kind of feel like that candlelight reference. Yeah, and then another good thing too. Just do it this way, and this will be like kind of an eventual thing. Is I want to kind of vignette this down a little bit around these edges. So something, just like a little bit like this, that'll kind of darken around the sides and really kind of help us focus in. Because when we have it kind of bright throughout, our eye kind of slips off. So, but this will really help us zero in.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but it's coming together. It's like you're starting to get the feel of the reference, and I think that's a really good first step though. So good job there.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. There's a couple others. Yeah, I'm realizing I saved them, but I forgot to load them in. So we have these. Ruby, yours is in here too. I think that's it. I think that's everyone. Make sure I got that. Oh, Abishek is just loaded too, so let me go ahead and save these out. Just one sec. Okay. All right. So we've got. Okay. Let's get one loaded up here. Make them all nice and big. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So Andre, we'll start here with your coffee scene, and then we'll hop over into your portrait. So I think coffee scene. I think the fill looks a lot better. I think this looks better out here. It's funny because, I think it's good. I was wondering if by darkening this area in here, we've actually exposed that there's not more city there, but I think it's okay. Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah, I think this feels pretty good. The only last little thing I would do is maybe, I would add a little bit more shadowing on the back of just the bark of this tree out here. It just feels a little bit glowy. I would just darken up that backside a little bit and make it feel like a little bit more like a rim. And then I think I think we can cheer and call this one done and add it to the Hall of Fame. And you can yeah. Aaron, anybody else? You guys see anything? Any other last final tweaks? All right, cool. Let's do that, and then tomorrow we'll clap. I promise.
All right.
Good deal. All right, and in terms of your portrait one, here's the previous version. Here's the update. It's looking great. I think the depth of field now it feels about right. It feels right compositionally. I think we can maybe go a little bit more out of focus down here, just a touch. But I think, having her whole face and most of her torso and everything be in focus was the right move. Her eyes look a lot better. I think we can do two things to the eye dings. One would be softening them a little bit. They're a little bit like hard edged. And two, so this one is like at like the noon position, like dead center on top of her eye. This one's shifted over to the left a little bit. I don't really care which it is. I just want them both to kind of be the same. So it's nice, like, because it's one of those things, like for something like this, you kind of just want symmetry. And I think that'll work. The hair looks great. I said it yesterday. I think it's the right amount of shaping, the right amount of the right amount of light exposure that shows the qualities of the hair without like feeling overlit for the situation. My only concern about her skin tone is that we might be overlighting her a little bit in her skin. I'm wondering if maybe we can pull down if you have an AOV of the diffuse, I would just pull that back and add a little bit more darkness to that.
Okay.
But yeah, everything else, nails look a lot better, skin looks great, everything's looking great. Really, really, really cool stuff. And like I said, just some like simple things like this specular highlight on that earring looks like it feels real. It feels real, like it feels really good.
Cool.
So good job with that. All right, cool. Right, we got Aaron. Okay, Ruby. Let's see. We've got.
I actually have a third.
You did? Did I miss it?
Yeah.
Where did I miss it? Nope. Two's the limit. That's it.
Right under the.
This
border.
one. Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes. But I think this was somebody else's. Yes. Okay. Cool. All right. So let's just pull this up this way. I am so sorry I missed this.
I mean, there's this is just like a first round, and there's a lot of stuff that needs to be fixed still, and but I wanted to show it over.
Sure. No, it's a good start, and it's a good structure. I like the balance of the bright inside, darker outside. I think we can just this reference. The reason why what I was looking at was the reference doesn't really showcase it, but I'm wondering if there's an opportunity to play up the Christmas lights a little bit more into their lighting, into the lighting as a whole, because I think that's something unique and something that could be fun, and something that gives this it just gives us more of like a time and a place that could be really neat. So I'm wondering if we should tone down, like pretend like this is right before they go to bed on Christmas Eve or something, it's like the lights have been turned off. It's just the Christmas light kind of shining on the room, because then you can get some really nice play of those colored lights on the walls, a little bit on them. Yeah. This is interesting. I'm sorry. I'm just noticing this. Like, there's some. There may be, I don't know if the model shifted or something, or if this is how it's sent out, but like there's a gap between the window. This pillow is just hovering, and if she leans on it, she's gonna hit her head.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, Aaron, you were gonna say something?
Yeah. So I have a question about like demo reels and like conception of like something like this, right? So I'm from Michigan originally, so to me, Christmas equals snow, right? But like I've lived in California where that's not like a thing whatsoever. You have these Christmas trees with like flowers and stuff.
Yeah.
When you're making a demo piece, like is it just because I'm from Michigan so I correlate snow with Christmas, or is this something that like could an employer look at this and say it feels disjointed because it's sunny and Christmassy? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Do you want to play up that stereotype?
I see what
I'm
you're.
from Brazil. I never had snow
yeah,
Christmas ever.
Yeah.
That's what I'm wondering.
I think.
Like, for
Listen.
demo purposes.
I think that you can easily run into a problem of trying to put, and this is true of any artist in any field. I think you have to speak to your truth, and whatever that is, that'll read through and resonate, whether or not somebody grew up in Brazil or Michigan or California or whatever. Like, I think a movie like A Christmas Story, like I'm originally from Chicago and I live in New York now, like Christmas is snowy and cold and gross. And so it's, and it feels that way to me. And like, it has those, like being able to see your breath is like a Christmas thing to me, and like little things like that. So I think what you need to do is I don't think you need to play to your audience on your demo reel. I think it's about you and your work and your interpretation of things. And so when you do that, you start to scratch away at things, and you start to reveal your vantage point on things, because like you'll know what a wintry Christmas looks like, and that will read through to the audience. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, I mean, like I wasn't trying to like necessarily like
no.
say it was wrong or anything. I just, because I don't think I've ever personally seen an animated movie where like Christmas is like, I mean, I know it's not the case, but like I don't, most of the time in an animated film, they'll appreciate, like they'll even hit home, right? Christmas equals the snow and all that stuff. So I don't know. I think what you're saying makes sense. I think it's cool. It brings about kind of a different feel too.
Yeah, it didn't. It's funny because like her having the cocoa and then being inside was enough for me to feel warm and cozy about it. Yeah, but like there are no flowers at Christmas time, right? I guess that's. I mean,
not for us.
Yeah. There are no more pretty things. Yeah. So I think that's a really good point. I think that you. Yeah, I think you just need to lean into your own personal interpretations of things, and I don't see any employer faulting you for approaching things in different ways. In fact, I think like if you had a Brazilian Christmas scene and it was all like summery and it was on a beach or something, it would be like as somebody who looked at demo reels, I'd be like, that's really cool. It's actually it's a different perspective on the thing because it's either the thing that you know, or it's a different perspective on the thing that you know, and it in either way it reads well because it'll be authentic to the creator.
Okay.
Yeah.
On my end, I see it.
Oh,
I'm sorry. On my end, I see it perfectly because I live in Costa Rica, so my Christmas, everything has been like that all the time.
Yeah.
So I see it like it's perfect because again, is my perspective, is my truth, is something that I have been grew up with my whole life.
Yeah, it's just funny because I lived in Orlando for about 2 years, and like we would go to the parks down there, and at Christmas it's like it's all that traditional like fir trees and all that stuff, but it's just 100 degrees, and that's like so out of element for me. I was like, it's the weirdest thing, but sure,
yeah. When I lived in Savannah, I was putting Christmas lights on the house that I was living in, and it was like doing it in shorts and a t-shirt, and I was like, this doesn't feel right. Like you should be on ice, on a ladder, and it should be life-threatening, and this feels too safe for what I'm doing. It should be there should be a sense of pride in that.
But one funny thing I found out while doing this photo scene was that I was Googling what is the moon-like temperature, color temperature, and then I found out that the moon is actually warmer than the sun.
It is, yeah.
And I was like, what?
Pay attention. So
once you
start,
but it's funny.
Once you start paying attention, and it's like pay attention to animated movies, the way that they do night varies so. Like daytime kind of has a similar look from show to show, and the way the animated movies do night can be anywhere from like super dark with just like a little bit of light to purpley like craziness. What was the scene? There was a scene in Frozen that I saw recently it's like where the big monster is chasing them, and it's kind of like dusk, and it's just like straight blue, or purpley blue, like it's just like straight color. It is really, really saturated, and it was more like a sunset time period. But I was amazed at how saturated and how bright they went with the night sky there. But yeah, it varies so much. You can do pretty much anything at night, and it works out okay. All right, cool. Let's hop into grades. All right, let's hop over into Ruby. So I think this is looking great. I think Abishek said in his comments he was like really excited about the cloth looking really good, and I agree with that a lot. I think desaturating the The glasses and cup worked really well. We're really kind of starting to center in. The softness is working really well. I am wondering if let's see something. I'm just going to mock something up real quick, just because this is looking really good. I'm wondering if to play up the warmth on the inside a little bit. I'm going to cool off the background and just see what that looks like. Just adding a little more blue to the outside space to go off of what we were just talking about. Like, not that much, but. Like, I'm wondering if adding a little bit of coolness out here will help the scene as a whole. And I think you probably had this like this earlier on. But I think that'll be good. What do you think about adding a little bit of cooler value outside of the window on? I think it's an image or an HDRI or whatever you have out there. Just adding like a hue shift and just making it a little more blue.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be good. And then all this is looking good. I really like the look of the robot in his kind of core, in like this central area down his middle. Around this edge, it's starting, like, we lose his red color a little bit and it looks a little bit like dusty. And so I'm wondering if I'm trying to think of like how we can get that back. It's like it might be a matter of, God, how would we do that? It would be a matter of possibly tightening up the roughness up there, because what's happening is the color of this light is like kind of taking over the color of the shader. It would be a combination of maybe play around with it. It might just be what it is, but I would think that making that light more white and less colorful will help the red kind of stand out, and then also like taking down the roughness would help that a little bit. And because I just want to see, like, do you see how there's like nice subtle hints of red in through here? I just want to see a little bit of that up there. And then for the eye, it's looking interesting. I think it's cool, but like I'm wondering if we shouldn't move this up here, like, even though like that is an accurate, do one of two things with this reflection here. It would either need to be like an actual like reflection of the book, because if as a ding it just doesn't, it's not really working that low on the eye, or move it up top here and just make it like maybe actually probably more like over here.
Okay.
And then,
so the reflection that's under the circle, actually, that's the book.
Is it? It's
So that the little dot that I put in there, it's the light that
So this is the. So you're saying that this is the book.
Yeah.
And then so that looks good.
That's what happened when I tilted the head.
Yeah, that actually looks good. It's the dot. That's
okay.
Because there would be two reflections, because there's this outside and there's this inside. So we could have this, and then we could also have that be like a square shape for the book too. Or that. Wait, say again.
What do you mean about the?
Because there's two surfaces that are reflecting. There's the outer eye and then there's the inner eye. So this outer eye is reflecting the book really well, right? And I think the inner eye could also reflect the book, with that, instead of that being a dot, making that more book-like. That's a terrible drawing, but yeah. Or like that's one option, or the other option would be to take this and move it up, like, so it's more like a traditional eye ding.
Okay.
But this is really, really, really coming along nicely. This is, yay. All right, cool.
Hi, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, Abishek, you are up next. So let's get you, and then we'll hit Jordan, T. Yeah, Jordan and T after. Okay. So we've got this is your previous version. Got the updated here, and we've got the reference here. Okay, cool. Let's take a look at this. All right, robot's looking good. I really like his material's looking really well. Like, yeah, again, the redness is kind of like red color is really starting to stand out a little bit. I think this is going to be one of those things. So he's getting like, if you just look at the robot, he feels very bright, right? Like he feels like he's getting hit by a strong sun. The girl's shirt and pants, those feel like they're getting hit by a strong sun, but her skin, it feels a little bit more toned down. And I don't think we necessarily need to hit it harder with the diffuse. I think it's a matter of getting specular light on the skin, and maybe hitting this area a little harder with that key light that's hitting it. Lots of honking. And so that would be my big note with the characters, is just trying to get her skin face to be a little bit brighter, similar to what Ruby had in hers. Let's desaturate the glasses and the mug. They're a little bit saturated. And same thing with the flowers here. They feel a little, and plants. The stuff outside here feels saturated too. In terms of inside the house, the value feels pretty good. A couple things. One is like I would expect to see more of a shadow from this bookcase against the wall. And then two, I want to see. You know what? I think that this value here is good. What I'm wanting to see is feeling more of the space and the light falling off as it goes into the room a little bit more. So I think it might be a matter of actually darkening back in here. Let's just mock this up. Let's grab this. This is very crude, but I think that by leave that a little bit brighter around there. Oof, don't do that. I think that by darkening a little bit back into the room, it creates more depth in the space and allows the characters to pop forward a little bit. I think that, yeah. So I would do that. I would consider turning off this lamp. It looks good, but I think a better structure for the shot would be if that was darker and allowing just the sunlight to hit the characters and allow them to stand up over the dark background. In terms of her, like I think maybe something along this line could work out a little bit better. Be a little bright. So yeah, so like instead of this, let's brighten her and then darken the background a little bit to kind of get that to move forward. Yeah. And then while we'll just keep doing this. And then let's desaturate these guys.
Mike,
Yes,
sorry, I think that you have muted I don't know how to pronounce the name, sorry. Because I'm able to hear him, but you're not able to hear her.
Oh! I'm sorry, let's see. Yeah, there was some background noise in the middle, so I muted you earlier. Abishek, are you there?
Yeah. Actually, I forgot to mute the mic. I was having a dinner actually. I just want to ask a thing.
Sure.
I don't know how to deal with the flowers actually.
What are you struggling with?
I guess its shader is not proper, I guess.
Oh,
And
go ahead. Continue.
that's why lighting is not looking good, and it's still kind of looking flat.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, the flowers, I can look into them. I actually haven't played around with this scene too much. It was. Yeah, I mean, there should be a texture mat that goes on them. There should be and then just adding a little bit of translucency. But honestly, if you don't have to use what we provided, I think that they're not necessarily the star of the show too much. Let's see. There's somebody else. I saw them in somebody else's, and I thought they were looking nice. Oh. Maybe there's another time. Anyway, so I think don't if it's too much of a struggle at this point, don't worry about it. We can figure it out later. I think it would be more important because again, that's something that can easily happen when you're working on a 3D shot. Is you're like I don't know how to do this one thing, and you kind of get fixated on it. And really if it's too much of a problem, just turn the flowers off, right? They're not a major story point. They can be helpful, but it could just be an empty flower box out there too. That's fine as well. The main thing is the main story that you're telling is with these characters in this set, getting that feeling right, is more important than getting every element in place the way that we want it. So for me, I think the biggest thing isn't necessarily that they don't have the exact shaders on them. It's just that their color is too pure right now. And honestly, I think that if you just take this color that you have, pull down the saturation in just pull the saturation of the color down a little bit, and then try and add a little bit of translucency to the flower petals themselves so light can shine through them. I think that might be enough to get them to work. And then again, if they don't, that's okay. Just turn them off. We got a flower box here, and the scene structure is still similar to what we have.
I have a question too, Mike.
Yeah.
I was trying to plug in the translucency map, but it wasn't working. Where do you normally plug that in?
There's a translucency parameter within Arnold that you can do that. It's also because these are PBR shaders that Arnold should, in the newer versions, Arnold should be working pretty nicely with. Because sometimes it used to be that you had to invert the shader sometimes. But there should be, let me see if I can open it up real quick. And I may be wrong about this, but let's see.
I mean, I don't have it offhand, but I maybe later afterward I can dive into my Prisha shader and see what's going on there. I mean, if you guys really want to dig and get the answers sooner, you can almost look at any Prisha video from December. I'm sure someone has a flower note.
Yeah.
And I want to say that flowers were a big topic of discussion during Prisha in the Arnold shading help or Arnold help or something.
Yeah. Because they were a big. You're totally right. They were a big part of that scene, and probably the most difficult, other than her skin itself.
Yeah, so I'm looking at my last Prisha render, and it was created on December 27th. So really, almost any time before then, you could probably find some flower help.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
Yeah, but if you have time at some point to open up, why is this being very strange right now? There we go. All right. Nope, not the hair. AI standard surface. Okay. So you can use the transmission would be a good one for it. It's not necessarily emission. Yeah, I think it works with. I think transmission would be the way to do it. Because if I, let's try this.
Yeah, I'll try the transmission again. I tried that once, and it actually just made it all transparent.
Yeah. Okay. So it might just be. Oh man, sorry, my mind's being funny. It's more of. Yeah, if it's making everything transparent, then it's probably the map isn't reading properly, because it should just be limiting it to just the leaves of the flower, maybe a little bit on the stems and stuff, but it should just be limiting it to that. Yeah. Okay. Got a couple more to go through here. Let's see. We've got T's, and we've also got Jeremy's as well. Okay. So Jeremy, I was looking at this before. And one of the things is the sky feels better in terms of it. It doesn't feel like there's a confusion on the sky direction, but I do want to see some sort of variation or fall off as it goes across there. I was also looking, like the amount of saturation is so intense in this that I actually looked to pull this back a little bit. And I also think that not only can we get some variation across the sky going this way, I'm wondering if we can't also get something going this way too. So it's like there's a horizon lifting up and there's a fall off of darkness as we go from left to right. And then I like the fact that the main character's in this opening here. I do just want to see just the tip of the sword clear that building a little bit. These are glowing nicely. I like these window lights a lot. I think we should... Ooh, that's not actually a shadow. I was just looking... Sorry, I'm just looking at this. So this is the edge of this building. For a second, I thought it was a shadow line. Yeah, I think what's happening is that the shadows are getting pretty flat, things in the shadow areas. Like it's not bad that they're this dark. The problem is that there's no like variation in their in their illumination in the shadow area. Something that's big, in order to communicate that scale, you would see some slow value shifts within them. I think for this one, would you do me a favor? Because I want to play with this some more. Would you mind sending me a couple of individual like renders? Like, could you just like your key light, just your fill light, or like maybe, like a couple individual passes? Yeah, like just the key, just kind of these fill values, and then maybe just the interior window lights on these buildings. Because I think that there's a composition here that I think that'll work better than this, and I just kind of want to play around with it a little more before I give more notes. But the biggest things that I think that we could do going forward are desaturating it overall, getting some variation in the sky, clearing the tip of this sword so it's not lost on the edge of the building there. And then eventually, and we don't have to do this quite yet, we're going to need to find a way to get more shaping in the shadows areas to kind of break it up and really feel a sense of that scale. But yeah, if you could send those over to me, you can even, if you want to send EXRs or non-JPEGs, you can email them to me. Or actually, you probably could send them to me on Discord. It's mike@academyofanimatedart.com if you prefer to email. So we can do that too. All right. And then the next time that you submit those, I'll open it in Nuke and I'll do a whole breakdown for you. All right. Jordan, you asked a question about the number of samples on the subsurface. There is no normal on that stuff. It's totally dependent on the scene. You would set them to 7. That's really not that high in some of the situations that I've seen. I think that's totally normal. I think it's like asking, is 10 lights too many lights for a scene? It's like, all depends on the scene. So I think that's totally fine. Her hair is looking good. I like this little bit of glow on him here. I think that his hero color, similar to what we were seeing in Ruby's, maybe a little bit more of that red could come through. And the flowers in this one are starting to feel a little bit satiny, like a little silky. So I would pull off that sheen a little bit, and because I don't think we really need to see them that much. Sorry, the flowers are such a pain in the butt on this, guys. I didn't realize that when we were making it. And then I think the glow on this is nice. I think it can just be taken down a little bit. Yeah. Looking at these. Bonus points on this one. So do you see how they're like their sheen is kind of uniform on these pillows? I'm wondering if we shouldn't isolate them to a couple of the patterns, like the way that fancy pillows sometimes have different materials within them. It doesn't, because like that feels, the whole thing feels like a plastic surface when really pillows, the main body of them are going to be like a softer cloth. So I'm wondering if like for this one, if this is like nice and soft and then this is nice and soft, but just like a couple of these bands in the middle pick up that sheen or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, this is looking good, man. And then in terms of her eye, one thing that we like to do with the iris is if the light's kind of coming in from this way, we want to try, I don't know if I can do it, try and darken part of it, the opposite side. So just get this to be a little darker to create a, this is going to be really ghetto, but just to get some more shaping down there. It would be bigger than that, but the basic idea is that like you want to create, it's all about creating light to dark fall off. And actually, you know what? I'm doing this wrong. It would actually be on the other side, wouldn't it? Because the light's coming in this way, this would get brighter because it's concave. Yeah, so this side actually, sorry. This side would actually need to get a little bit darker. The screen right side of her eye. But yeah, this is looking good overall though. And T, previous version and update. All right, they're on the ground now. Cool. The tree line helps. It helps kind of like solidify them into place, and I think that works really well. I think we can throw some of this outside out of focus, just because we're focused so closely on the characters. I think you can put some blur on that. The look of the eye is interesting because it feels like, I think this would be a good chance for you to find some reference on this to kind of figure out, because right now it's like the eye itself is dark and then this side of it is very bright and then this side is dark, it is like starting to fade off. And I'm wondering if, because it kind of does that headlight look, which is headlights often have a dark thing and the light shines this way off of something reflective and then kicks out around the side. If that's the case, that's fine. Then I would just want this to be a little bit more, like this bright area to be a little bit more central. But let's find like some reference on how we want that to look, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, the darkness here looks a little bit better. But yeah, the biggest things for me are that, and then I also want to kind of darken some of these areas. Because if we want this light kind of shining this way and then bouncing up on her, yeah, then we want to create, like, darken this foreground a little bit to really kind of make sure that this area is our main focal point, right? So let's darken what we're seeing in here. Let's get these eyes. Let's get some reference on that to figure out where we want to go there, and then. I think we even have a little room to make the girl a little brighter too. Let's kind of get her to stand off just a little bit more. Okay. So let's start there, and then we'll go from there. All right, cool. I think that is it for today, guys. Does anyone have any questions or any other notes? Ruby?
Yeah, sorry. I was just like listening to the other comments on the rest of the peers. Just one quick question on mine.
Yeah.
When I tilted the head, I kind of messed up with the framing on him on just the window.
Oh, like here?
Like he's over the frame. Yeah. Should I pull that back back again, so there's like the line, or is that like
Yeah.
not?
Yeah, it's not a big deal, but I do think we have a little bit of room to just like I think you might even be able, depending on what his legs are doing, you might even be able just to scoot the robot back a little bit, because there's enough leeway here that I think we could just nudge him over a little bit.
Okay, so move the robot, not the girl.
The girl's good. I think she's in a good spot.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
if you move the robot back, you're gonna have like indentation issues with the model. So I don't know how familiar you are with modeling, but if you look up the sculpting brush tool in Maya, that will help you reseat him in a nice spot.
Why is that? I'm sorry, not to. Why?
Well, so he's indented, right? So like if you push the robot backwards,
Oh, I see.
his little butt dent is gonna like change on the cushion.
Yeah.
So like pushing him back, he'll kind of clip into that geometry, and then but the sculpting brush tool on that cushion will totally solve that issue.
Got it. Also, I mean, another option could be just thinning down this a little bit. Oh, also one thing I'm just noticing this, just to keep your eye on. There's more of a shadow between the fingers and the book itself. I don't know if that's because it looks like this light's here. It would be casting a little bit of a shadow there, but I don't know. Something to keep an eye on.
It's actually that finger is.
Wait, you're totally right. I'm wrong.
Yeah, their fingers.
Yep. It's on his right. I thought it was on his left hand, like grabbing the book. My bad. Ignore that comment. That was a total misread on my part. All right. I've been staring at things for too long. All right, guys. I'm going to get going.
Thank you.
Thank you guys all so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a wonderful Wednesday, and I will see you all tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. Have a good one.